Welcome to another classic car called Drive-Thru. Today we've got a 2016 BMW M4 GTS. This is a car I think I'm going to eat my words on. You know, when it first came out, Mike was all over it, and I'm like, oh, come on, Mike. We really need a M4 with less seats. It's going to be less useful with a big wing on the back. Like, who cares? I'm also one of those clever guys that always thinks I can do it better. When I see custom edition cars coming from BMW or anyone, I'm like, well, yeah, you know, whatever, we can buy all those parts and do it ourselves for less money, like special edition, blah, blah, blah. However, one finally came our way that we thought seemed like it was the right fit at the right time, and we pulled the trigger on it. I started to do a bit of homework on the car and realized that this is actually something really special. There's only 300 of them in the US. It's not just retweaked M4 with a couple aftermarket parts on it. They really put the effort in to make this car their answer to the Porsche GT3. I've only had a little bit of time behind the wheel. I have to tell you, I'm really excited to drive it. The little bit I have driven it, I can say it seems like a totally different animal than any base M4 I've driven. What have they done to it? I think they've kind of made it a statement, big middle finger to everyone that says BMW is not making the ultimate driving machine anymore. Sure, their normal street cars have had to come to grips with all the compromises of marketing and safety and whatever, but in this car they put everything back in to make it fully purposeful driving experience. It's set up and ready to go to the track. There's a roll cage, Michelin Cup 2 tires that are actually probably too aggressive for anything other than dry roads on the street. They stripped everything out of it. No rear seats. Door cards are these pressed woven felt things that weigh nothing. Carbon hood, carbon roof, carbon trunk. And the big bit of magic, they put water injection in their twin turbo 3.6 6. So they're now pushing nearly 500 horsepower, somewhere in the mid 4s on torque. Super powerful. Super hardcore. There's no more actively dynamic suspension. It's full on all the time, and they send a wrench so you can lower it when you get to the track if you want. A couple modes on steering. It does have a DSG gearbox, which again, my old-fashioned arguments of what makes a great sports car. I want a manual gearbox, but in this car, I think I have to agree that it's so purposeful and so full on that you have no business changing the gears yourself. You want all the advantage you can have automated manual gearbox. With that, I gotta say, I'm really excited to get and drive it. I want to drive it and tell you more about it once I get some time behind the wheel myself. All right, getting into the M4 GTS. I'm really excited. I'm actually a little nervous. This car is super full on. We got some great driving roads up here, but we do share them with hikers and bikers and stuff, so we gotta take it easy. I'm really excited to drive this car. Standard BMW fare here. You get in, keyless entry, you got a start button. Foot on the brake, fires that up. Yeah, SMG gearbox, while it's evolved over the years, same basic philosophy. You do leave it in gear like you would a manual shift car, pull it down and push over and you're in drive, and you'll see a D in the dash, and you toggle over to the right and it'll go into manual, and then you have this little adjuster on how full on you want it to be. So when you're in automatic, that will hold gears longer, make shifts a little harder. When you're in manual, it will try to smooth out the shifts if you're on the softer mode, which I find a bit weird. So I always end up just going full on 3 bars on manual and then maybe 1 bar on automatic. So I have that ability to toggle if I'm on it and I want to be able to drive and control the car if I'm sitting in traffic and want it to change gears without being obnoxious. We got a sport mode for steering and throttle response. There's no adjustable suspension. If I hit this, I can go efficient, sport, sport plus. We're gonna give it some Sport Plus since we're on some nice roads. Same thing with the steering. Changes the weight in the steering wheel. We're gonna go Sport Plus and everything and give it a go. Let's see what we got. Usual BMW M style. That Sport mode changes a bit of the engine mapping, but also changes throttle response. Even dating back to the E46 M3. The throttle response is so full on. In sport mode, it's actually so jumpy you can barely drive it in traffic. So really what the non-sport mode is doing is filtering out some of your throttle input so the car doesn't take off on you. With some smooth roads, we can take all the throttle response we want and see what this thing can do. Right out of the gate, I gotta say this thing is super full on and like no M3, M4 I've ever driven. BMW from the factory has done more than I could do myself, fooling around with tuner parts. This is a whole different machine. It's uncompromised to its purpose. You know, I was just kind of run through the gears and I did see a little bit of the traction light flashing at me, like jumping in and intervening and keeping me from getting out of shape. That could be a bit of this full sport plus mode. I might just give it a little sport and see if I can make it a little smoother. It's amazing. It's definitely a car. Take a modern car with all its technology working behind it and have something that's still this visceral and gives you butterflies and makes you excited to drive is an impressive feat. It's exactly what BMW should be doing to maintain their stake as the ultimate driving machine. Really cool, really special car. All right, get a little bit of curvy road. We'll stop talking and see what we got here.
There's a chance we dropped the microphone. Yeah, we were dragging it.
All right, so I was silenced by the driving experience because I really had to pay attention there. This thing is a full-on, sharp, kind of angry, visceral thing that really commands your attention the way a car of this caliber should. You know, I think it's something that a lot of cars have lost these days with really sophisticated traction control, amazing engine tuning and turbo motors that kind of smooth out everything, that dynamic suspension, really everything that just makes it so the car will go way, way, way beyond your ability. This thing is still way faster than I have any business driving, but it engages you in a way that really makes you part of the experience. In spite of having, I'm assuming, electric steering, a double clutch gearbox, it's still got that visceral driver's feel, which is amazing. So good on you, BMW. This is exactly what you should be building.